Hey, good morning everyone. It is December 29th and it's about 53 degrees outside, so the girls are taking a much needed bathroom break known as cleansing flights. And I was just checking on the hives just to see how they were looking coming out of that extreme cold snap that we had, where we got down to minus 10 degrees outside here with 30 below wind chills. And all 4 hives on the left here look good. Hives 4 through 8 look pretty good. Good activity at the entrances on all hives. And looking good on hives 9 and 10 as well. And you see where the bees come out and they kind of face the hive and just kind of fly around a little bit. They're really just taking their cleansing flights. Bees will not defecate in a hive. They will hold it, except the queen. And you don't really want to know how her mess gets cleaned up. So use your imagination there. But all the other bees will hold it until they can leave the hive, even if that means holding it for very long periods of time. And so whenever there's a warm day like today, where we're in the 50 degrees, the bees gladly take the time to go out and use the restroom real quick. So that's what all these bees are doing here. Obviously everything's dead around us, so it's not like they're out here foraging anything. There's nothing really to go harvest, to my knowledge. I don't know. I've been told bees can find some pretty amazing stuff through the wintertime. So I think I'll go ahead and grab some pollen substitute and bring it out here and set some pollen sub out. Now, unlike sugar syrup, you can set pollen substitute out right in front of the hives and it will not cause robbing or set off a robbing event like sugar syrup was, or honey. If you put that out here in front, you would have insane amount of robbing going on. But pollen substitute, for whatever reason, does not trigger robbing, and it will provide these girls with some emergency pollen substitute if they need it. I'm going to check on each one of these hives' food supply inside the Vivaldi inner square. I know a couple of them have already burned through theirs, so I just want to make sure all the bees have enough food. I'm not going to pop any of the tops per se. I'm not going to actually look inside the hives. I mean, just looking at these entrances, I would say all these hives are doing pretty darn good. And whenever you see the dead bees on the landing board on some of them, that's a good sign too. That just means that the girls are doing the appropriate house cleaning. Bees are always naturally some of them are gonna die inside the hive. And so some bees are tasked with removing the dead bees from inside the hive. But I am going to make sure that if any of these hives need more sugar brick, the soft sugar brick, I'll go ahead and put that in. Some of you may have noticed I did have to remove a video that I created on how to make soft sugar bricks. I did not know that recipe that I used in that video was, I don't know, trademarked or patented or whatever you want to call it. And so the owner of that recipe reached out to me and asked if I would take it down. And as soon as he reached out to me and asked, I took it down right away. My intent is not to, perform any copyright infringements or patent infringements or anything. I was just trying to help new beekeepers on how to make soft sugar bricks. That's all. So I'll probably make my own recipe. And I've got a few ideas, some combos that I'm going to put together. I just want to see how the how they hold together. It's not rocket science here, guys. It's a combination of sugar and pollen substitute and some other minor ingredients just to help the mixture hold together. But that's what the bees are after. They want sugar and they want pollen substitute. So how can you put those two together and keep it from going bad? That's really it. Some form of preservative or something. So I'll probably make a new video on how to make some soft sugar bricks with my own recipe. You know, just again, I just want to help out beekeepers that need to do this for their own hives. So anyway, lots of good activity out here. These colonies, the smaller ones, I was a little worried with that cold snap whether they were going to make it or not. This colony here on the left, you can see they're certainly using that Vivaldi entrance I showed you earlier. That's that small little hole at the bottom of the black box there, which is a nice alternate entrance when their front landing strips were covered in snow. So, but yeah, these colonies are looking really good. It's always, you know, it always makes a beekeeper feel good when you come out and check on your hives and after a cold snap like that, and you see that they're out and about and there's good activity at the entrance. It tells you that, you know, they made it through the weather okay, which always makes you feel good as a beekeeper. I mean, we try our best, and you know, like I said, some folks use windbreaks and other mechanisms. Some folks wrap their hives. It's just personal preference of the beekeeper. Bees are very resilient. I've said it many times in other videos. It's not really the cold that kills them. I mean, again, it was minus 30 degrees out here, wind chill. So it's not the cold that kills your bees. It's inadequate ventilation. If the moisture from their breath collects at the top and freezes and then thaws out and drips on them, and that ice cold water drips on the cluster, it can kill them. So that's really what it is. But again, an advantage of using these screen bottom boards like I do is that there's typically very good ventilation through these hives. The downside of that is it does get colder inside these hives versus ones that use solid bottom boards. So in the extreme cold areas, you know, it's probably preferred to use solid bottom boards there just for the added warmth throughout the winter time period. But typically here in Kentucky, our winters are just not that cold. This is the first time we've dropped to temperatures in that range since, what, 2015? So it's not that common here. Normally in Kentucky, we just get down to, you know, maybe the teens or the 20s. Single digits is pretty uncommon here. But it can happen, and the bees are just fine. We have to deal more with heat problems here. So I see videos posted and photos posted of hives that are bearding, which is where the bees are forming out on the front due to inadequate ventilation during the hot summer months. So that can be an issue, and screen bottom boards certainly help with that. But we'll talk about that later in the springtime and the summertime. Here we're just focused on the wintertime right now. We're still at the very beginning of winter, believe it or not. The end of December is actually when winter starts. So these bees still have several more months here to make it through the wintertime. But they're certainly taking advantage of this unseasonably warm 53. I think it's supposed to get up to maybe 55, 57 today, December here in Kentucky. And as you can see, they're taking full advantage of that. So that's really it. Just thought I'd come out here and shoot a quick video and check on the activity of the hives. But it appears that they made it through the bomb cyclone successfully. So definitely a thumbs up from this beekeeper. So thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video.